You said, look, we're going to have a disruption, but we're okay with that. Is that what you meant? The stock market going down was the disruption? What other disruption were you alluding to?
Look, what I have to do is build a strong country. You can't really watch the stock market. If you look at China, they have a 100-year perspective. We have a quarter. We go by quarters.
That's true.
And you can't go by that. You have to do what's right. What we're doing is we're building a tremendous foundation for the future. Tremendous foundation.
All right, my boyfriend, Lawrence O'Donnell.
Oh, him.
Oh, I'm usually too late to slip into bed with, but here he is.
The stock market crashing on fears of a Donald Trump-caused recession, which Wall Street is calling the Trump session. Getting a recession named after you as president is not easy. It usually is not so clear, not an absolute straight line of causation from presidential policies to a recession. And so no one called any of the recessions of our lifetimes a president recession, a Bush recession, or a Reagan recession, or, none of that.
Thank you, Lawrence. It is. Are you enjoying your Trump session? Okay, Representative Joe Neguse.
Think about the average working family in my district that's struggling to be able to buy a new car because car prices are soaring through the roof. Interest rates are still remarkably high. And what are they left with? They're left with, the car infomercial that the President of the United States conducted earlier today on the White House lawn.
Yeah.
The disconnect is
breathtaking. Right. Yeah. Please help my friend, the richest man in the world. Yeah. While you can't, well, I think we've fallen farther behind in car payments than at any time in our history. Yeah. My insurance, by the way, through the roof, every kind of insurance, Jake Auchincloss on that.
Home insurance and car insurance bills are messages from the future about cost of living because they're insurance companies underwriting what's it going to cost for us to repair or rebuild this house or this car. Yep. And the message from the future for my constituents is going to be, it's going to cost a lot more because houses and cars are bundles of steel and aluminum and lumber and semiconductors, all of which this president is taxing. He is imposing an onerous tax upon the middle class right now.
Yeah. Jake Auchincloss, by the way, from Massachusetts is fantastic. We've had him on this very program. But talking about Russia as well.
It would help if the administration would stop telling Russia that it has all the cards. Not a great way to negotiate when you grant leverage to your enemy.
Thank you.
Russia does not have all the cards. They have double-digit inflation in their rear. They have unsustainable casualties on their front lines, trading thousands of deaths or wounded for every square kilometer gained. They're short of materiel and the sanctions are beginning to bite on their oil and gas sector.
Yeah, they're not in good shape right now. Yeah. But Trump keeps saying that they're in great shape.
Yeah, I know. And I love Zelensky saying, I don't want cards. This isn't a game.
Right.
By the way, did I hear that Trump is inviting him back to the White House so perhaps he can grovel more sufficiently this time? Really? Oh no, there's a lot of effery. Okay. All I know is I hate everyone this morning.
Well,
yeah.
I hate the internet.
Okay. Apparently, you go to bed, Bella, this is what happens in talk radio. You go to bed a flaming liberal that everyone on the right hates, and then you wake up an avowed fascist.
Yeah.
And fan of Steve Bannon because...
Right, a far-right loon.
Because we allowed Carlos to have a nuanced, conversation about trans girls in sports because he has 2 daughters. And so we were having a... Wow! Okay, let's see. So we will talk to Dana Goldberg in hour 3 because I'm always, dying. By the way, Chris, I don't know if you know, we're a big tent. We're a place where, because Carlos said he's been afraid to have this conversation because liberals will jump on him and whatever. And I don't want this to be a place. Very often, Frangela and I are on more of the same side of an issue. They often differ with Carlos and you.
Right.
And
well,
that's
everybody differs with me.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I allow you to be wrong every second of every day, and you're here. My point is...
Thanks. I appreciate that.
My point is, I agree with some of the sentiment. So Dana retweeted Allison Gill, her co-host in Daily Beans, and our good friend, who said, sorry, not sorry, y'all. I will never, ever, never, ever support anything that diminishes trans rights, even if it's just 1/10 of 1% of their rights, never, because once you forfeit 1/10 of 1%, it becomes 10%, then 100% every time. I said that is I think the right wing are despicable bullies. I think they use this issue to bully trans people.
They use it to win an election.
And to scare Democrats into going, oh, well, maybe we need to beat up on trans people too, which I obviously loudly disagree with. Right. I've said that many times. But so this was this morning when I woke up to. Cecile said, thanks, Allison, for your principled stance on the issue. Lost my mind listening to Stephanie Miller yesterday waffling on the issue just because she doesn't want to have anything bad or critical to say about Newsom. Sickening. Okay.
None of that happened.
Oh, no, wait, there's more. Will said, remember, Stephanie Miller voted for the right-wing fascist Gavin Newsom. She's a fascist, just like Steve Bannon. I woke up as Steve Bannon. What? This may run for president, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
So clearly, I'm Team Bannon 2028 because what?
You're going to be his campaign manager.
What the actual? Okay.
I hate people. I really hate people.
And by the way, as I've said before, if you agree with everything anyone says, you're an idiot.
Yes.
Including me.
Especially me.
Yeah. Well, those of us that are gay people in California, of course, have been Newsom fans for a long time. He was a ally of the gay community way before it was cool. And I did make that point yesterday that when Chris and I were young homos,
yes,
gay marriage was not. I mean, look at the polling.
I never expected gay marriage to be legal.
And that's what I said. I don't want to go, oh, well, just because it's the majority. Because it is.
Right.
A polling thing that I'm sure scares Democrats because 80% are against trans girl in sports, 90% are against
just that one issue,
trans surgery for prisoners.
They're not against trans people; they're against trans girls in sports.
So we were having a discussion with Carlos about it. Bella has a 14-year-old sister who plays volleyball, so you were chiming in, and I didn't have time to pre-screen you because I got here late. So go ahead.
No, good luck with this, Bella.
Yeah, I mean, I played volleyball my entire life. I scrimmage with boys.
I kind of sucked, and I only played against girls.
So this is a nuanced issue, and some things I will say. We can't cherry pick which Democratic leaders to criticize. Exactly. We should be holding all of our leaders accountable because they are supposed to represent us. We also, you guys say circular firing squad against other Democrats.
Which is exactly what they want. That's exactly what they want.
This is exactly what's happening.
This is what they did during the election, Chris. It's an issue we weren't talking about. No. Trans people are beautiful and have a right to exist like the rest of us and have a right to have every right that we all have like any other human.
We are all on the same team.
And then they made it about this little, divisive issue that then became something, obviously that they turned into. And again, I saved this because this is exactly why I don't go on Fox News. I sent you this piece. This is what I'm going to ask Dana. This is what would happen if she got invited on Fox News. This was the topic: some murderer in prison getting trans surgery. He is a convicted murderer, and so. Of course, that's an issue.
Of course it is.
Right. So you need to go on Fox News and be the liberal that defends the murderer that killed a little kid getting trans surgery or whatever. Right. I mean,
that's going to put you in a position of defending murder.
And it's like, again, 0.0000001% of the.
We're all on the same team here. We all have the same core beliefs. We need to have these conversations or else no real change is going to be made. And we can't just blow smoke up each other's butts every single day. We have to have these conversations.
Right. And like this lady Cecile that was bullying you into having a different opinion.
Well, I wasn't waffling on the issue. I have a show where I have a lot of different personalities that we showcase that have a right to their own opinion. I can't police what Carlos thinks, and I can't police. And again, Dana, I'm sure will present an opposing view today.
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to hearing that.
And I am, again, 99% of the time, obviously agree with everything Dana says. Anything Frangela says, that's the only person. That's my, by the way. That's my only rule. I do agree with 100% of everything Frangela says, but that's different.
There's other scary things happening. My alma mater, Chapman University, just fired the VP of DEI at the university with no notice. They're firing all there are also pressing issues that we should be focusing on.
That's the other thing. It's like, here we go again. This is how we got here, right? It's by the way, here's the other reason how we got here. Susan Sarandon at this, the protest for the Palestinian activists. They, first of all, this is something, Bella, we all agree on. We are all for free speech, and that this guy is a legal resident who was a protester who should not have been disappeared in the middle of the night. But she's like, no matter where you stand on genocide, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh my God. Nobody of good faith is for genocide. Because you support Israel does not mean you're, no
matter where you stand on
genocide. Oh my God. Yeah, right. Nobody is for waste, fraud, and abuse. Nobody is for illegal immigration. We have different views on these because we're Americans, right? On how we do, comprehensive immigration reform or whatever. But oh my God!
Or even cutting waste in government.
But this is,
we all have different opinions.
And by the way,
too.
the maggots saying this guy is pro-Hamas is the other reason we got here, because you support the Palestinians and right,
and their right to have
and you
their
don't
own
and you
land.
criticize Netanyahu. Right. That doesn't make you Hamas aligned with Hamas or whatever the Trump administration is saying about this guy, or a Hamas sympathizer.
Right, you're allowed to criticize Netanyahu without being labeled anti-Semitic.
Right. Well, yes, and I do think Netanyahu, I've said many times, is a war criminal.
Absolutely.
So, anyway.
He's a far-right warmonger.
Anyway, the weird thing, Bellas, I finally felt Chris's pain.
Yeah.
Somebody, when they turned on me like Wolverines this morning.
Yeah.
Aw, bless your heart.
Oh, hey there, it's Stephanie Miller. If you're like me and you love sharp political insight, pointy, you like it pointy and sharp, bold opinions, and a touch of humor to make sense of these crazy times, have I got some fantastic news for you. The Political Voices Network is now on Substack. This is your new go-to for the best in independent media. We're talking about my show streaming daily with episodes on demand, the fearless of journalism of Brian Karem, the brilliant side-splitting satire of John Fugelsang, the unrelenting working class advocacy of Rick Smith, and so much more. Here's the best part. Subscribing is so easy. You can join for free or go to the extra mile. Support these incredible independent voices by signing up for a full subscription starting at just $8. You'll get access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and a chance to directly fuel fearless, unfiltered media. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to politicalvoicesnetwork.com, hit that subscribe button, and become part of the movement keeping truth alive in an era of corporate media overload. Every subscription helps, especially yours. One more time, that is politicalvoicesnetwork.com. Sign up now. Do it.